I've always wanted to be able to reach out to different nationalities and cultures.
They have some kind of similar backgrounds and experience that we don't really have.
Yeah. I think finding something in common is really hard because you don't make friends with someone without like having something in common with them. But when Chinese students making friends with Americans, there's a deep gap.
Yeah, I would say sometimes I find that it's really difficult to do that, to bridge that gap between like where do I start?
You barely have something to talk about with the American student because we don't know each other that much.
But for someone who hasn't been to China before, who doesn't know the culture, I think it's going to be difficult for them to kickstart a conversation.
Students get together, start off by talking about high school life. When they came from the same area, well, they have some kind of similar backgrounds and experience that we don't really have.
Sometimes when I go play basketball, I see Chinese students that are playing too, and they've got NBA jerseys on, and I try to make it a point to say, hey, what's going on? To start a conversation about basketball, but it doesn't go anywhere.
It's easier if the other person is more understand about Chinese culture.
The closest relationships that I've had with Chinese students are the ones where the Chinese students make an effort to start a relationship as well.
Some Chinese students, when they talk with Americans, when they cannot find anything in common, they'll just keep quiet. So they just ignore you that part.
My feeling from my experience of why Chinese students don't necessarily form close relationships with Americans and why Americans don't form necessarily close relationships with Chinese is more so the flaw of the Chinese students.
I think it's more like a gesture of listening. So if somebody's willing to listen and really accept what you said.
They think Chinese student, it's Chinese students' responsibility to reach out for American.
To us, you're another person. You're not, just because you're an international student doesn't mean we look down upon you or we think you're extremely special. We just think you're another person, and you need to make that effort.
It should be two parties together. But after a while, I think I understand because they have their friend.
Just when we take the initiative and we expect them to respond to our initiation.
It's not very reasonable for us to expect everyone is supposed to be really curious about your culture and really curious about you. So it's like a mutual thing. Have to work together on that.